Because again, it's understanding that you have control of you. So you have the ability to actually push yourself up from above the sea, this choppiness is going on, all this craziness going on in your life. You can withdraw yourself from it at any moment in time, sit in a quiet room and just reflect, journal, meditate, just actually ask yourself empowering questions, and then you put yourself back in control. Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Welcome back to another episode of the Prime Life Project podcast. I'm your host, Daniel James, and today it is just me again. So if you're a returning listener, welcome back to the podcast. And if you're new to the episode, welcome. Don't forget, if you take any value from today's episode, please don't forget to like and share it with a friend. Help us to spread the word to help as many people as possible. And with this, when it comes to sharing the episode, again, you don't need to try and force it down people's throats, but if it just happens to come up in conversation about any podcast that you're listening to or anything that's helped you, and if any of these episodes actually generally have helped you, again, just give us a share, just send people to the either Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, again, just to help get the word out there, because that's what this whole purpose of this podcast is to try and help some people not go through what I went through. And again, so if you take some value, please share the love. Also, if you listen to it on Spotify's now got like a star system, so if you go onto the podcast intro, click on the top, give us a 5-star rating if you do enjoy the podcast. Like I said, I've got some really cool guests lined up, but as I've said before, I want to be doing a lot more of these by myself, and I've actually just spoke to Mikey before this, potentially going up to 2 episodes a week. With some of them we're discussing in the background, because obviously I've got to make sure we get it all set up, and we've got something else coming in the background with the podcast as well. So there's a lot going on at the minute, which is absolutely awesome, super excited, and a lot moving forward. So again, if you're new to the podcast, when it's just me talking, I like this to be a little bit like hard hitting. I say hard hitting, it's me just actually giving you some real talk, like some real bits of usable, tangible information. They're a little bit shorter, a little bit more in your face, but again, it all comes from love. So my thing is just to, when I learn something, it's like, right, let's just use this. Let's just really help you hone in on some of this stuff to give you some actual, real, actionable steps. So what I want to talk about today is like 3 ways to bounce back quicker from a setback. Because I think one of the biggest things people struggle with is when life hits them, which it does. Like, life's never, ever always going to be perfect. Like, that's absolutely impossible. But the problem is, even when things are going well, we kind of take our eye off the ball and we expect it to always be good. But then when it's not good, we then act a bit surprised. And we go for this like vicious cycle of ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, acting surprised when it happens. Even though if we actually take a step back, it always happens. Like, it's the natural flow of life. Like, what comes up must come down. Like, it's impossible to constantly stay on a high. It doesn't work that way. And again, even if you see your friends that are millionaires, like super successful business people, whatever it is, like amazing relationships, you can't always stay on a high. But the difference is, it's the people that bounce back quicker are the ones that appear happiest, because they are happiest because they're not allowing themselves to get dragged down by life. Because it's one of those things to understand that life's not going to change. The universe is not going to change. It's not going to suddenly make some rule for you that you are always going to be happy. And again, would you really want to be happy? Because if you're always happy, then it kind of puts you on just a level of good. Because if you're always happy, you've got nothing to compare it to. And this is, again, something that people don't think about. Like, you've got to have that yin and that yang. There's got to be opposites to it. Like, you can't always have the happy. You have to have the lows to appreciate the highs. But the goal is the ratio. You want the highs to far outweigh the lows, and you want the lows not to be as low as they used to be. So again, if you remember the episode I did about the positivity paradox, I think that was maybe over a year and a half ago, but spoke about the positivity paradox is quite a weird concept. Like, the more you get yourself into a good headspace and you work on yourself and do all the things we talk about and all my guests talk about, because you're in such a high space, the fall, when you do go down and life does hit you, it seems greater. But the reason why it seems greater is because you've hit new heights. And then it seems like you've gone back to how you were. But if you actually look on the grand scheme of things, you haven't gone back to where you were. It's just because you're feeling so good now. When you do drop down, you may drop, let's use a football analogy. So you've got 20 teams in a league. When you go to first and second place, if you drop down to 10th or 11th, that is a big drop down. But before, if you were 20th or even 17th to 20th, that's not a big jump. But then now you're going down to 11th place, like, you're still substantially better than you were when you were in 17th. But because you've gone from 1st to 11th, it's that drop. That's what makes you, oh my God, like, my life's ruined. It's like, no, take a step back. You're not down in that relegation zone like you used to be. You're not down there. Like, you're better than you used to be. And that's what people struggle with. There's that positivity paradox. Like, I might do a whole another episode on that again. Now we've got Mikey here to actually do the videos and the cool little infographics. But the first thing I want to talk about is, number one, don't take it personally. Like when life hits you with something, one of the biggest problems that we have is that we take things personally, but you can't always win. Like we said, you can't always win. It's not always possible. And it's understanding, we're using that formula I spoke about in the last episode by myself, that pain plus reflection equals progress. So when life does throw things at you, don't take it personally. Just see it. It is what it is. It's an event. Like it's not happened personally to you. And the thing with this is you have to understand that it's the story that you tell yourself. That is then the problem. It's a story that you tell yourself that creates this issue. So you make it personal. This thing happens to you in life, and then you start telling yourself a story about this event, and you make it a personal thing against you. Now, again, it may actually be a personal thing against you. Like maybe someone has actually done something to you. Again, that's fine, but that's more a story about them than it is on you. But if you have actually done something wrong, if you have really, really messed up, and it's your own fault that this thing's happened, like you have to then reflect on it. Because this is what people do not do. They don't reflect on it. They don't do that reflection part. Again, I'll hammer this point home till the last podcast I ever do. Pain plus reflection equals progress. You have to reflect on it. You have to reflect on what on earth has gone wrong here, because that's how you then progress and move forward with your life. But it's understanding that old quote, that smooth seas don't make good sailors. Like you can't expect life to be amazing. It's had downs that actually help us. And Paul Cope, again, a good friend of mine and Mikey's, on the course we went on, you have to learn to surf. In life, you have to learn how to surf. So surfers, you can't always have these big, amazing waves. It is not possible. But understand, like when the wave's up there, you ride it and you ride it high. You enjoy it. But understand, on the way down, enjoy coming down. As bizarre as that sounds, when you start to notice that life's dipping a little bit, just enjoy it. See that downtime as a time to reflect and be like, right, want a bit of a downward thing here. Oh, but you know what? Look how good that high was. And you're not seeing it as a negative. Because that's the problem. The thing we do is we see this thing going down and we're like, oh my God, but it was so good. It was so good. And again, we play that victim mindset. Oh, it was so good. It's not good now. Rather than being like, oh my God, that was awesome. Next time I'm up there, it's going to be even better. And you just completely change how you speak about it. Like enjoy just going down. And then when you're there, like the surfers do, when the waves come down, they sit there on the beach, they enjoy it, they relax, they chill, they recharge. They're like, oh, do you know what? Actually, I could have done a little bit better on this, could have handled it here, but damn, that was cool. And then you get your board again, and then you go back and ride the next wave. That is how it works. And the better you get at surfing, the more you will enjoy the highs. The more you'll notice the big waves, the more you'll enjoy the big waves, and the more controlled you'll be on the way down, rather than just crashing and burning and getting thrown around by the sea of life. So again, just learn how to surf. The ups and the downs. But again, understanding here that it's the experience, when we internalize it, the experience isn't the problem, it's how we internalize it, how we talk about ourselves. Why did I do this? Why did this happen to me? That is one of the big things. Why did this happen to me? It's happened to you to help you. Like life happens for us, not to us. That's one of the points actually. So I'm going to leave that. Actually, we'll go into that. Like, that's the second point here. Like, see that life is happening for you, not to you. So rather than playing this victim mindset, like, why has this happened to me? Why's this happened to me? Like, ask, why has this happened to me? So rather than why me, why me, why me, might be like, why me? Like, why? What is this trying to teach me? Because you can take something from any experience in life. The problem is, and again, I fully understand this. I'm not expecting you to be, when life around you like feels like it's like a nightmare and everything's going up in flames. I'm not expecting you to, in that moment to be like, oh, this is amazing. Something amazing is going to come from this. No. You've got to allow yourself to not be okay. That's fine. It's okay not to be okay. And when the world is going, well, it feels like the world's caving on you and like you're losing stuff, that's fine. But the difference is when you let that go from a day to a week to a month, that's then the problem. But understand, there will be something in that is helping you. You just have to be open to it. The universe is always working in your favor. And again, it sounds a bit hippie and a bit woo, but I promise you that it's true. This happened to me on numerous occasions. And now, whenever anything bad happens, I always try at the earliest available opportunity, which again, may be in a few days, but the earliest available opportunity, I try and ask myself, what has this tried to teach me? Because it will have taught me something, either about the other person or about me. But I try and make it about me, because again, that's what I can control. It's not about the other person, it's about me. What can I actually control from this? So no matter how much it sucks, just try and flip that mindset. Again, you're in control of your thoughts. That is what you have control over. We spoke about that in the whole thing when I did the last episode by myself. You need to understand, you have to try and see this and think, right, change that mindset. When you start to notice yourself in that negative spiral, which again, the better you get at this, you'll notice the negative spiral within minutes, maybe hours. But when you first start out, it may take you a few days when you notice you've got inside your own head. When literally you just, again, you use a surf analogy. Like when you have come off that surfboard and the water caves in around you, it may take you a few minutes to get back to the surface. It may feel like you're drowning. It may feel like you're suffocating. But guess what? Just like that surfer, when he's got his ankles strapped to that surfboard, you will be pulled back up. Okay, that will happen. The better you get at surfing is better. Just don't ever give up. And then from that position of above the water, above the surface, when things got a little bit more settled, you can then assess and move forward. Because again, it's understanding that you have control of you. So you have the ability to actually push yourself up from above the sea, this choppiness that's going on, all this craziness going on in your life. You can withdraw yourself from it at any moment in time, sit in a quiet room and just reflect, journal, meditate, just actually ask yourself empowering questions, and then you put yourself back in control. The more you try and control the uncontrollables, the more out of control you are. I mentioned that in the last podcast again. Understand that, again, there's a pattern with this. So understand, life is happening for you, not to you. I promise you that. I learned that from Tony Robbins. Life is happening for you, not to you. It may seem like it's happening to you at the time, but there's always a lesson. It's happening for you. It's happening for you so that you learn, develop, and grow. Just like when you climb a mountain. Again, there's different levels, different stages of climbing a mountain. Like sometimes in life, people think that you've got to go straight up this mountain. That's not always possible. If you're climbing a mountain and the path above you is blocked, sometimes you have to climb down, go across, to then climb back up again. That's how it works. That's how life works. So right now, maybe life's happened for you because it's like, actually, if you were carrying on this trajectory, something bad was going to happen. So let me just give you a little step back, just a little bit. Then this opportunity is going to open up. You take the opportunity and then you move forward. But you have to be open to seeing the opportunity because there's always an opportunity in everything. There's countless people, you see it, where like things happen to them, like literally the most tragic circumstances, and they make something better come of it. That is the kind of mentality you've got to have. And again, it's hard and it is a skill. So again, with this, it's not beating yourself up. Not being like, oh my God, I'm such a failure, I'm so useless, I can't do what Dan's saying. Again, I still have bad days. I say this all the time. Like, I'm not perfect. This is why I'm coming to you to share this information. This is what I do. So when I do these episodes here, like the 3 ways this or the 5 ways that, it's literally me just thinking about what do I do? What have I learned? It's implementing myself. It's not just stuff I've read in a book. Like this is the stuff that I've been practicing. And again, sometimes I get it wrong, but then I reflect on it and then I move forward and then we go. Like I said, a lot of people that know me personally, like over the last 2 months, like my mental health and stuff that's gone on around me has been hectic. Like there has been bad days and good days where normally there's substantially more good days than bad days. But I'm trying to control everything that I can control. And the more I notice myself slipping, the more I see it as an opportunity. There's things that have happened and I'm like, right, this is an opportunity for me. Yes, it sucked. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's not fair. But there is an opportunity in here for me. And every single week I've progressed, despite some things that could have sunk me. And that's one of the biggest things for me is understanding, we spoke about this in the last podcast with David. Like, stuff that used to destroy me doesn't destroy me anymore. Like, I've leveled up. It still sucks. It still hurts. But I back myself more. And that's the position I'm trying to get you guys in, where you back yourself. Because once you back yourself, as I've said, no one can take that away from you. If you have complete and utter faith in your ability to bounce back from any situation, and you have your own back, no one or nothing can take that away from you. And that's what I'm trying to give you with these little ones I do by myself. Just give you those tools so you can gradually build it up. Because I understand that people can't afford my coaching, and I get that. But I'm trying to give you the same information here that I give my clients. It's the same stuff. It's that bounce back ability. When life knocks you down, you get back up as soon as possible. That's that amazing thing we're talking about here. So the first one, again, just to recap on here, don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. You can't always win. It's not possible. And then we sort of segued into another part here about try to see that it's happening for you, not to you. Again, that's a big thing there. Like, it's happening for you, not to you. I understand that. And again, third point is that take responsibility for your part in whatever's gone on here. So with this, like, when you get these setbacks, just ask yourself, what part have I played in this? Because you would have played some part in this, no matter how big or how small. And this ties into that again, pain plus reflection. Just ask yourself, take responsibility. But taking responsibility should be empowering. You're not blaming yourself. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about taking responsibility, but being kind for yourself. And it should be empowering. The taking of responsibility for your part in whatever downfall has happened or whatever bad things happened, it should be empowering. It should be you learning and growing from that experience to move forward. It's not you bullying yourself. It's not you being aggressive towards yourself. It's not you saying you useless this, you useless that. Why are you such a failure? Why such that? Because remember the episode about the power of questions. When you're taking responsibility, if you ask yourself a negative question, you will get a negative answer. So this whole thing should be empowering. You should be asking yourself the positive, empowering questions. When you're taking responsibility, you're coming from a place of love and kindness to yourself. Do not blame yourself or others, because as soon as you start blaming other people and or blaming yourself, that then puts you in that victim mindset, especially if you're blaming other people. Remember your energy. We spoke about this, the power of looking after your energy. If you start blaming other people, they have your energy. You're giving them your energy. The most powerful thing you have is your energy. Remember, we talk about thoughts. Thoughts is potential energy. If you keep thinking about that negative person, that negative event, that negative thing, you are giving away your energy. You then don't have the energy to then look after yourself. And this is one of the biggest things that I've had to learn over these last 2 months, is that I was giving my energy away unnecessarily and wondering why I was bollocksed, wondering why I was struggling to do basic things that I've been doing before. It's because I was allowing myself to play a dance with someone else that didn't understand or realize it was going on. I was doing it to myself. I had to understand and take responsibility for my part in it rather than being a victim. Because I didn't need to be a victim. It wasn't serving me. It wasn't empowering me at all. It was doing the exact opposite. And again, I know all this stuff and I still fell into that trap because it's so easy to do. Society makes it so easy to perpetuate that victim mindset. And you can blame other people. Because if you blame other people, it takes responsibility away from you. And that's easy. Because when you're blaming other people and other things and other events, it means you don't have to do anything. It means that you're absolutely fine. You can carry on and carry on and carry on. And if that's the mentality you've had and you're not happy with your life, let me tell you now, you are the problem. Because if you're not prepared to actually take responsibility and be like, what part have I played in my life? You are always going to end up being the victim and ending up with a life that you don't want because you refuse to take responsibility. Stop running away from yourself. You're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life. Stop running away. Take responsibility. Try and find out these toxic traits that you might have, these toxic things that you might do, these negative behaviors, these negative patterns, these negative systems, because we're all built from systems. To go from A to B. Even in the morning, you brush your teeth in a certain way. You put on your clothes in a certain way. We are creatures of systems and habits. But if your habits are negative and they're not serving you and you don't realize it, you're going to keep going through the same cycle time and time again. Whether it's jobs, whether it's boyfriends, whether it's friends, whether it's anything you're trying to move towards, if it's the same patterns cropping up again, you are the problem. But like I just said, remember, take responsibility in an empowering way. So you are the problem. Okay, own it. And then be kind to yourself. Don't then beat yourself up because that's not going to get you anywhere. You have to start being kind to yourself, but it starts with taking responsibility and being like, right, I have to take complete radical responsibility. Just like I spoke with Fleet Mole, take complete radical responsibility for where I am at right now. Why has this happened? Write it down, be very, very honest, but stop blaming other people. Yes, they may have done you bad. It may be their fault, X, Y, and Z. But that's not going to help you move forward with your life. I don't care about them. I care about you living your best life. Like actually fulfilling your true potential, actually being happy, or not even happy, just being content. I think most people would settle just being content. That's one of the things, again, I learned from Paul Cope. I would just like to be content. And that is the place that I've got myself to. But I realised I'd knocked myself out of being content. I had knocked myself out of being content. I had allowed myself to dance with someone else. I had allowed my thoughts to wander. I had given my energy away. I had done all of these things. Yes, there's other external things. Yes, it wasn't fair. But I had done things and I had to take responsibility and ownership of that to get myself back in control. Now I've done that. Guess what? I'm content again. Awesome. It's that simple. But again, it's a process. It takes time. Just like anything. Just like when you first learn to tie a tie, or when you first learn to tie your shoes up, when you first learn to ride a bike. Like, you're going to fail and you're going to suck at it. But that's when you have to persevere. That's when you have to back yourself. That's when you laugh at yourself. Have a bit of fun when you mess up. But God, bloody hell, stupid. And that's what I started to do. I started to catch myself. Like, what am I doing? But in a funny way. Like, why am I thinking that again? Have a laugh and joke about it, being kind to myself. And then you move yourself forward. And the final bonus point here that I've already said here is, like, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to feel bad. It happens to everyone. It happens to absolutely everyone. Like, everyone in life is winging it. No one has a blueprint for this. But only you know how you function. So when you have these setbacks, like, try and bounce back quicker. And again, even if it goes from 3 months to 2.5 months, awesome. That's 2 weeks you've got back. And you get better and better and better and better. It's not going to be instant. And this is the problem when it comes to listening to this podcast or reading self-help books or anything else that you do. If you take no action, if you just read these books, if you just listen to this podcast, but you take no action, again, that's on you. You are not taking the action required. You can listen to as many podcasts as you want. the best of the best. You can read the most self-help books ever. You can go to workshops, seminars. If you're not prepared to actually action the steps and things that people talk about, no matter how simple they may seem, no one's to blame but yourself. So if you've taken anything from this episode, go and action it. Write it down somewhere. Again, this is on my whiteboard. I've got things written down there that just pop into my head. Sometimes I post-it notes because things pop into my head. I'm like, I need to remember to do this. Like, it happens. Like, it's fine. But make sure that you action those steps. What can you do tomorrow to try and action those steps, to try and bounce back quicker, to try and learn from your past failures, to try and actually take responsibility for yourself, to try and actually forgive other people? Because again, remember, forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. You're not letting the other person off the hook. Forgiveness is you releasing that emotional thing that's crippling you. That that forgiveness for you. You don't have to tell the other person you've forgiven them, but that forgiveness, let it go for you. Because again, if you don't forgive and you keep giving that negative energy towards it, you are depleting your energy stores, which means you are not going to reach your full potential. You're always going to be lethargic, you're going to be tired, and you're going to be resentful. That is not a good place. A quote on my wall here: fill yourself with it and become a magnet. If you're filling yourself with hatred, you will attract hatred like a magnet. Fill yourself with love, compassion, gratitude, kindness. No matter how much someone's hurt you, forgive them for you. Not for them, you're doing it for you. Let go. Let go of that rope. Let go of that rope, put it down, walk away. On one there, Mikey. And we breathe. Again, as I said at the start, I've got so much love for all you guys and all the support that you show the podcast. It's absolutely incredible. Again, if you did take any value, don't forget to like and share it with a friend. And again, leave us a review if you have enjoyed it. You guys are absolutely awesome. I'll see you next week. Have a good week. Take care.